Hey everyone, I guess you could say I am living the meme right now because I am on my way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Gonna catch the Dodgers and the Pirates tonight in Pittsburgh. It's actually part of a longer series I'm gonna be doing. Tonight, I'm seeing the Dodgers and Pirates in Pittsburgh. Tomorrow, I'm going to be seeing the Dodgers and Orioles in Baltimore. I'm also going to be seeing the Dodgers and Orioles in Baltimore on Saturday. But we're going to be seeing a whole lot more than just baseball games. I'm going to be going around, especially in Baltimore, and checking out some other sites. So I'm going to have a whole chunk of videos from these couple of days. And right now, I am in Breezewood, Pennsylvania. And it's loud, and there's a lot of traffic, and that's why this became a huge meme. So from somewhere up on this hill, somebody took a picture down at all of the Perkins and McDonald's and all of the things that you routinely see on the side of highways in the United States. This is like the epitome of it, because first of all, there's a hill at the top of the town where you can take a picture, but also this is where Route 30, the Lincoln Highway, meets up with the Pennsylvania Turnpike and Interstate 70. It is just a big cluster of highway culture, and that led to this little town here that isn't really a place where people live or people work, except for to maintain the side of busy highways. So I thought since this became such a meme, I would start the video here, but now I'm gonna head into Pittsburgh and hopefully we can see more exciting things there. So there was a lot of rain on the drive in, and I'm not going to get to see as much in Pittsburgh as I wanted before the game. But right here along the river, there are a couple of monuments that I wanted to see. The first one here is for Vietnam veterans, and what I really like about this monument is there's a focus on the veterans coming home and returning to loved ones. You see here, this is supposed to be the veteran. I don't know if he's getting off the boat or the plane, and then presumably his wife or significant other waiting over here for him. I think that's a really nice focus, because sometimes we focus a little bit too much on the war itself and whether it was right or wrong and a lot of the protests, and that's important, and it was not a great war, but that was not the fault of most people who fought in it. Most people who fought in it were just poor people who got drafted. So focusing on the time that they were not with family and they were away from home, I think is really, really important. So even though I was running a little late, I wanted to make sure to catch that Fred Rogers, of course, Mr. Rogers statue that they have here in Pittsburgh. Mr. Rogers is from Pittsburgh, and I think that his show kind of embodies everything that we try to do on the podcast: inclusivity, promoting creativity. Obviously, you know, we talked about child abuse and domestic violence on occasion, and a safe place for children, and that was Mr. Rogers. We all had that. Well, at least if you were my age, we all had that growing up, that positive male role model to serve as a great example of non-toxic masculinity. Now, I wanted to walk along this trail here, catch the Korean War Memorial, which is right behind me. I'm going to show you that, and then we're almost in the ballpark. I always try to find and videotape or photograph memorials to the Korean War, because I think even more than the Vietnam War, yes, it was a waste, and the reasons for fighting were pretty awful anyway, let's just say that. I'm trying to be a little diplomatic here, but it was not a just war, and it was not good at all. But that doesn't mean that the people fighting in it wanted to be there or agreed with all the political decisions being made in Washington or Seoul or other parts of the world. They were drafted, they went, they did their duty, they did what they were told was right, and a lot of them lost their lives doing it, and I think we need as many tributes to those brave men and women as humanly possible. And right outside the ballpark, we have a statue dedicated to the great Bill Mazeroski, Hall of Famer for the Pittsburgh Pirates. This image is documenting when he became the only person thus far to ever hit a Game 7 winning home run in the World Series. Other people have hit walk-off home runs to win World Series, but Bill Mazeroski, the only one to do it in a Game 7 in 1960 against the New York Yankees. And this statue right by the Pittsburgh skyline, right on the river. Let's go watch a ball game. This is a painting celebrating Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit on September 30th, 1972. He recorded the 3,000th hit of his career. It was his last hit of the season, and he died in the off-season. Absolutely tragic. Right behind the ballpark is the Roberto Clemente Bridge, and it is just full of people right now walking over the river to downtown Pittsburgh, which keeps this area around the ballpark actually from being all that badly congested. Like, it can get congested, don't get me wrong, but the fact that a lot of people come from downtown really does help. And of course, the bridge named after the great Roberto Clemente, his statue is here. We're going to see that in just a few seconds. And next to the Roberto Clemente Bridge, this bridge off here in the distance, actually the Andy Warhol Bridge, also a Pittsburgher. And here's the statue of the great Roberto Clemente. Obviously, with everybody leaving, it's going to be hard to get a shot with nobody behind it. But if anybody deserves a statue, it is the one and only Roberto Clemente, a great player and even better person. So when I got to that rest stop on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I realized I hadn't eaten anything all day. It had been well over 24 hours. So I got a bag of combos. I got 2 orange cream Coke Zeros. And now I am probably about a half hour from my house. I tell you what, this was an unusual day. So I just want to go over very quickly why I ended up getting tickets to that game. Because originally I was just going to be going to see the Dodgers play against the Orioles in Baltimore on Friday and Saturday. But the Dodgers had announced that Shohei Ohtani was going to pitch on Thursday in Pittsburgh. So I thought, well, Pittsburgh's not that far for me. I have an off day, like I'm already not scheduled to work. So I decided, all right, the heck with it, YOLO, right? So I bought a ticket right behind home plate. It was only $63 on an aisle. Thought it was perfect. I'm like, all right, I have never seen Shohei Ohtani pitch in person. I've seen him a bunch. People who follow this channel know I saw him reach the 50-50 milestone, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases last year in Miami. But I'd never seen him pitch. So I was gonna go, boom. That was what this trip was all about. And then on Monday, they announced that he was gonna pitch on Wednesday. So now all of a sudden I have a ticket, and like I did think about it. I got the insurance, so I actually thought about maybe not going all the way to Pittsburgh, which is like well over a 4-hour drive for me. But I decided to do it, and I was still going to get to see him play and all that kind of stuff. And then on Wednesday, he was sick, so they changed his pitching date. And originally they said it was going to be this weekend against the Orioles, but now they pushed it back even further. So once again this year, unless I do something in the playoffs or something like that, I'm not going to get to see him pitch again this year. But hopefully 2026 I'll be able to make that happen. It was a weird day. I had what I thought were car troubles. It turns out they weren't car troubles. I had to add some fluids, and I had to do some stuff to the car, but it wasn't as bad as I had thought. I thought I was leaking antifreeze, and I was not leaking antifreeze. And then because of that, and then because of the weather, I ended up getting into Pittsburgh later. There were a couple things that I wanted to see before heading over to the game. But I will be going back to Pittsburgh in early October for a concert. So I'm going to make sure to get there even earlier in the morning so that I can check out those locations that I want to see in Pittsburgh. And then bring that to you in video form and everything. But the point now is that I'm within a half hour of my house, definitely within a half hour now, and I'm gonna get inside, quickly charge my batteries, do all that kind of stuff, and then we're waking up bright and early. I'm gonna get about 5 hours of sleep, maybe. We're getting up bright and early, and we're heading down to Baltimore, Maryland. Right now the plan is to do the Irish American Railroad Workers Museum, which is being changed to just the Irish American History Museum, I believe, in Baltimore at 11 o'clock. And then we are going to be heading over to the Guinness Brewery in Baltimore. If you don't know this, Baltimore actually has a Guinness brewery. We're going to take the Guinness Brewery tour, and then we are going to eat at their restaurant there. And if we have any time, there's a couple other things we want to do as well. And then, of course, at night, we are going to be checking out the Orioles and the Dodgers. And then the following day, anything we don't get accomplished in Baltimore on Friday, we're going to try to do on Saturday. So, including, I used to live in Baltimore, so I actually know a fair amount about Baltimore. And I'm going to go to my favorite pizza place down there on Saturday. So, really excited about that too. Just a whole lot going on in the channel with trying to travel. This is going to be a very busy month for me, and I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. If you would drop some positive comments, that really helps us. If you hit the like button, that really, really helps us. And if you subscribe, that helps us the absolute most. But we have so many more people listen to the podcast than watch most vlogs or most videos. Even if it's something that does relatively well, like a ride-through video or something, it usually never comes anywhere near what we get for podcasts. And while I certainly appreciate that for the podcasts, I put a lot of effort into these videos, and I try to show you things that are a little different. Like, I thought personally today that the Mr. Rogers statue was one of the most important things. That's why when I only had a few things that I was able to see in Pittsburgh, I wanted to make sure that that was one of them. I think that we are living in a time when we need role models like Fred Rogers and Mr. Rogers. His themes of inclusion, his themes of creativity, keeping kids safe. I think that's really, really important. And, things really aren't going that well. So, a lot of people are struggling right now, and one of the things we try to do is have this positive YouTube channel where we promote what we believe are positive ideals. So it's always a great reason to support. By the way, if you were wondering about the game tonight, so the Dodgers actually lost. It's their third straight loss to the Pirates. Pirates, one of the worst teams in baseball. The Dodgers got swept by them. However, they were losing 5-0 going in to the ninth inning. And they were just about to have, they were one out away from, or one batter away from Shohei Ohtani coming up to represent the game-winning run. So if they just would have been able to get the previous guy on base, Dalton Rushing, the guy who was up when the game ended, if he would have found a way to get on base, Shohei would have come up. Might have been a Dodgers victory. They've been playing really poorly, but it felt like they found a little momentum in that ninth inning, so hopefully it'll carry over into tomorrow. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you being on all these journeys with me.